Good morning. I just want to welcome you to my live video feed. Today is September 30th, 2020, and I'm sitting here in the beautiful new studio at the Slim Body Laser Spa Health and Wellness Show. And my name is Dr. Rissacher. And there's some things I want to go over with today that are really, really important for your health and your life, no less important than they were last year or even 100 years ago. These truths are evident to be factual and very, very important, and that is that your body's ability to heal, to protect you from disease, to be able to strengthen your immune system, to be able to move through the earth, to walk and to bend and to, eat food and to be able to go to the bathroom. And these things our body does, we can sometimes take for granted until we lose them, or, the ability to walk, or the ability to use the restroom, the ability to fall asleep. My mom used to say that health is really having a body that you don't know that you have it. In other words, your body does everything that your will desires to do, for the most part, within reason, and that to have ill health is to have areas in your body, in the systems, activities of daily living, they call it, that would be impaired or are restricting your ability to move through the world with freedom and with ease. And that is a very, very true analogy. I remember as a young man and a young boy really having very little that would restrict me. I could climb trees, I could run, I could jump, I fell asleep, at the snap of a finger. I woke up refreshed. I had good bowel habits as a kid, and it just amazed me how much we take that for granted now that I'm in my almost 60s. I'm 59. I'll be 60 in October, and how I'm starting to realize the limitations to my freedoms based on conditions I've acquired over the years, and it doesn't make me happy, and it puts me in a position of really, some people say, well, what have you been doing during the pandemic? What are you doing during lockdown? And I'm like, my main focus is to stay healthy. I want to be healthy, and areas that I don't feel that I'm healthy, or areas that I feel are holding me back, I want to work on those areas and make them better. And I know that at this point in my life, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are born in the 60s and the 50s, and even some in the late 40s after World War II, the baby boomers, who are all hopefully realizing the same thing that I am, that you could have the best job and you could have money stacked in your closet or in the bank to the ceiling, and you could have a family and a lovely wife and friends and hobbies, and all of a sudden your body starts to fail. It starts to basically reject what you want to do. It becomes a problem, and it's shocking when it happens. It's like, something I counted on my body being able to repair itself was always such an easy thing, and all of a sudden with high blood sugar, with hyperglycemia, and then developing type 2 diabetes, I handled the blood sugar issue. I handled the extra weight. I'm a doctor. I knew exactly what to do, but I was left over with some residual problems from it, and one being neuropathy. I'd read about neuropathy when I was a young chiropractor, and I know people that had neuropathy, and I didn't realize how devastating it could be, and what it's like to try to live with a chronic problem. I had never had any chronic health issues in my life until I was well into my early 50s. And it really came, as I look back on my life, it came as a result of not taking really good care of myself, not realizing that the food I was eating, the things I was putting in my body, the lack of sleep, the chasing the almighty career path left me with some residual, some damage in my body. And now that I'm in my 50s, I'm looking at 60 this month, I plan to live to 2050. That's my goal. 2050. I hope yours is too. I hope it's to be 100 years old. So at 60, 70, 80, 90, that's 40 years that I plan on squeezing out of this body. And if I don't realize and take it very seriously about my actions, I don't really see myself as having a really productive 40 more years. And that is not okay. I don't mind dying, but I don't want to be sick before I die. And I think these are choices that we all have to look at and make someday. So, as a chiropractor and a doctor of natural health care, I really have a lot of experience on listening to doing consultations and hearing my patients and friends and clients tell me what's wrong and look for help, whether it's neck pain or back pain or breathing issues or stomach problems or chronic headaches. There's just so many problems that we can have. And I have a really great feeling and a great understanding of these conditions and how they affect a person. And I also look at the treatments and the remedies and the things that people do to try to adapt to their symptoms, their problems, or possibly look for more curative processes, or maybe they're just looking for symptom relief, just to not have the symptom. And so these are very different approaches to health and to wellness. The common approach seems to me to be, if you don't feel the symptom, you're okay. If you can find the right pill, the right potion, the right diet, the right, support brace, so you don't have to feel the symptom, that basically you're okay. And I think that that's a very limited approach and a very limited idea as to what your body's really capable of. These symptom treatments, these pills and potions and braces and, special seats that you have to sit in and shoes with inserts, and a lot of these things are really just a business model created by people that are in business. And they look at what somebody's needs are, and then they create a product or a process or a special brace that supports that need, which is to not have a symptom. And it's a fool's errand, basically. You're chasing symptoms. Your real cause of your problem is not being addressed because you have deadened your nervous system. You've deadened your body's ability to change itself through pain. And pain is a motivating factor when it comes to making changes in a human or any animal, for that matter. We will avoid pain and we will move towards pleasure. But I can tell you that moving towards pleasure is not as much of an effort, as much of a desire as avoiding pain. Pain is a huge motivator to make changes. So for that reason, this is why medicine and drug therapies have become so, just so common for people, because they reduce the pain. But you really never get towards the pleasure part of life if you're just taking symptomatic relief, because you haven't really addressed the cause. And this is a failure of modern medicine. And it's also, believe it or not, it's their principle of how they practiced. It didn't start out that way. Hippocrates, which is one of the, considered the father of medicine, said that we can heal our body through food and through diet and to do no harm. That was the Hippocrates rule, is to do no harm. Yet somewhere along the line, medicine has turned into just a plethora of symptomatic treatments to stop your symptoms without really looking at the whole person and the devastating effects of, you're taking away the warning light. It's almost like having putting a beautiful alarm in your house, and the alarm is to protect from intruders and people that would come in and do you harm. Yet, every time it went off, you just shut it off, or you disconnected certain areas of your alarm system so you wouldn't be bothered by the sound at night. And, that does stop the symptom, which is the sound, the siren, but it doesn't address the cause as to what's happening and why that system is alerting you there's a problem. And that's really an analogy that holds true today. Another analogy, which is an old one we learned as chiropractors, are, you're driving your car down the road and the engine light comes on telling you it's low on oil. And so you pull into the gas station and you're like, my engine light's on, I'm low on oil, and I don't know what that means. And the mechanic looks at it and goes, well, I see that. Why don't we just put a piece of black tape over it, and we'll fix that light for you right away. And he comes in with a roll of tape and puts a piece of black tape over it and tells you to drive on your way. And doesn't tell you that you have to fix the problem or where it's coming from. He just puts a piece of tape over it. And that's really another analogy for taking pills and drugs and potions that just treat symptoms. You're not really getting to the real cause of the problem. And, and that doesn't mean that, that the symptom and medications don't have a place in healing and in medicine, but they should always come with a warning attached to it that this is purely to relieve the symptom so you cannot suffer, but understand that there has been no curative effect from these symptomatic drugs. So if you take these drugs, the disclaimer should say that you have to get to the real cause of the problem and not just look for the symptomatic relief. But they don't do that. And you get into a belief and an understanding that this is all that you need. I come in with high blood pressure, and the doctor says, wow, you've got hypertension. We've taken your blood pressure, and hypertension is bad. It can create arterial damage. It can lead you to strokes. It puts a lot of more strain on the heart and the systems, and it's bad, so I need to lower your pressure. And he gives you a pill or a drug to lower your pressure. And the drug works because that's what drugs do. They do work. And then he hasn't really gotten to the real cause as to why you have hypertension. And there might be some ancillary approach, advice: lose some weight, exercise more, cut out the salts. There's things that they'll leave you with as a second thought, but there's no real plan or any real responsibility that you are required to follow through with these things. And then you're under this false impression that the medicine is all that you needed to lower your pressure. Or, and it's the same thing with high blood sugar. It's the same thing with difficulty digesting food. It's the same thing with not being able to have bowel movements. You take something to help you through that symptom without really getting to the true cause of the problem. And that's a real mistake. It leads to an enormous amount of chronic, incurable diseases, because that warning sign, your body's symptoms, were giving you a warning and telling you that there's a problem, And the only thing you did by taking these pills, and it's accepted by everybody, that you're okay. And I can tell you as a chiropractor, and as a 59-year-old person that's suffering with neuropathy, when I had the symptoms and I wanted the symptoms to go away and they went away, I didn't fix the real cause of the problem. And here I am today with very difficult neuropathy to treat. It's not going away. And I am addressing the cause of it, but I had 10, 15 years of metabolic damage before I decided to really look at it. And I'm stuck with it for now. I'm working on it though. And that's just a fact. So, if you need help, get help. They've proven in research and in medical studies that people that get help and find, natural, I don't want to say everything doesn't have to be natural, but somebody that has an approach to the causation of disease, why it happened, and can get back to these basic foundations, you have a much better chance of healing and repairing your body if you stick with the foundations of health. And your body doesn't really need any help. It just needs the foundations that build better health and build strength. And, one of them would be nutrition. The body needs good, sound nutrition. It's probably the biggest lifestyle error that we make is in what we put in our bodies. The nutrition that we're eating, the nutrition that we're using for energy, to repair tissue, to rebuild all of your systems, comes from the food you eat. And just like the analogy of a car, putting bad gas and bad oil in a car isn't the best analogy, because if you put bad gas and bad oil in your automobile, the machine will just fail, because it can't use that energy, and it just won't run. Your body is very different. When you put food in your body, the energy you get from sugar and processed foods is energy. You get energy from it. So your machine will run, but there's nothing involved, there's nothing included to repair the body, to repair the engine, to maintain the integrity of the cells and of the cylinders and all of the injectors to stay clean, comes from the quality of the food you're eating. And food is energy for the body to do work. And you can live on sugar, on just sweet things. But I'll tell you, over time, your body's going to get very sickened, because you need protein and you need good fats to build muscle, to build bone, and to build tissue. You can't do it just on high sugar content products and starches. It's very difficult. Starches do not contain amino acids, and amino acids build muscle, and if you build muscle, you build strength and health. So, nutrition is a foundation of getting to the cause as to why you're sick. And number two is something that we call the law of movement. And I don't like to look at it as exercise, because exercise has a bad rap. You have to go to the gym, you have to wear black tights, special clothing, you wear Nike shoes, you got to have your headset on, your MP3. Used to be the Walkman when I was an exerciser. And we're not talking about that. We're just talking about moving your body every day. The amount that people sit is 6 to 8 hours a day. Children, teenagers, because of all the gaming that they're doing, are putting in 8 hours a day, and it's just sitting. And that's in their waking hours. That doesn't include sleeping. And adults are sitting at least 4 hours minimum to 6 hours. And that's sedentary activity. Your body isn't moving when you're sitting. So movement is really just getting up and walking 20, 30 minutes. Less than 5% of humans actually exercise daily. And movement is a foundational aspect of healing and health. You cannot be healthy if you don't move your body. And you're not moving as much to build strength and such. You are, but movement is how you distribute the food that you ate to all the tissue cells and all the cells of the body. The cells of the body absorb nutrients from the blood supply, and then once the cells utilize those nutrients, that energy, it then has to get rid of the toxins through the lymphatic system, through the venous lymphatic system, and that requires movement to move lymphatic fluid through your body. You don't move lymphatic fluid by there's no pump. It's moved through movement and motion. And that's why movement helps to detoxify the body. And a body cannot survive or be healthy when it's overwhelmed with a buildup of toxins. And that is absolutely correct. And many of your stiffness in the morning, the achiness, the swelling of the ankles, the difficulty, the congestion of mucus that collects at night is all affected by, not moving and not getting the movement that's necessary. And a very simple program of movement would be, the Chinese call it, move every day, every body part every day in every way. So you would stand up and bend forward and bend backwards and left and right and twist your trunk. You would take your arms and lift them up above your head and move your arms. So bring your shoulders back and turn your head left and right and up and down and move your fingers and your ankles and bend your knees. And a good yoga class is a great way of getting that movement in a beginner's yoga class. And movement is critical. You need to do it every single day. If you do that, your chance of having arthritis, joint pain will be lessened. You'll have less poisons in your body. You will be a healthier person just by movement. So that's the second foundation. Now the third foundation, and by the way, with nutrition comes lots of water. We are severely chronically dehydrated as a culture. We don't seem to put value on water anymore. There's more value on energy drinks and sodas and Gatorade. I watched a girl come out of the store yesterday, and I guess it was for a summer camp or camp or something, because she had a cart filled with Gatorade, the Gatorade bottles for the kids. And my thought was, every one of those bottles is like 28 grams of sugar, and you're giving it to all these children because they like the taste, but you're forging a weapon that's going to prevent them from drinking water someday because they prefer the sugary drink over water, and it's not healthy. Gatorade is not healthy. So we need to drink more water. I get up in the morning. I always have 2 big cups of water before I begin my day, and it's table room temperature water. I don't do the cold water when I'm trying to hydrate. I do cold water when I'm out sweating and come inside, but I don't when I'm hydrating. You can't drink enough cold water. So water is really important. It's part of the nutrition. So I went over the law of movement. Now the third law is something called the law of rest and recuperation. And it is true that all humans and all mammals, require sleep. We require downtime. And that downtime is in the form of rest. And, if you're in a 24-hour day, if you sleep 8 hours, that's like a third of your life is spent sleeping. And that's when your body repairs itself. That's when your body shuts down and goes through repair cycles. Your blood supply is increased. The blood flow through your kidneys is increased 3 times when you lay down than when you're standing. Now your kidneys are a major detoxification organ in your body. They help to cleanse the body of toxins through the urine. And the kidneys are located on your back, on your flank. If you reach around, and you can feel your kidneys. Now you have one on the right, you have one on the left. And what happens is when you lay down on your back and you're sleeping or just resting, you're increasing the blood flow through your kidneys 3 times that of standing. And when you lay on your right side, the right kidney is dependent towards the bed, and on the left side. And there's a reason why humans cannot really get healthy well sleep if they don't lie down. Now, they've done this. This is where they torture people, is they force them to stand up, or they put them in a standing position and they sleep, and then eventually they get so filled with poisons and toxins that they can die. So we really need to lay down. Even if you're not sleeping, you need to lay down. And, rest is amazing. You should use techniques for rest, listen to tapes, do meditations, go outside before you go to sleep at night and look up at the universe and realize that you got to get out of these fixed artificial lighting. Affects your sleep rhythm. It's absolutely the truth. So the other part is recuperation, and that would be hobbies, activities, creativity, changing your brain pattern. If your brain pattern is work, 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 go to sleep, work, wake up, work, 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 you're developing unhealthy nervous system patterns. And the areas of tissue repair, creativity, which is part of a human's desire to be creative, relationships with people, purpose-driven life. These are other activities that require you to take time out to do them. And I was reading an article about mental illness, and they talked about how people can become mentally ill by not changing their thought patterns, by focusing on one thing so much that the other parts of their body systems start to break down because the energy is focused on just that one task. So an example would be I like to fish, and I grew up fishing here on the South Fork of Counter Highway here in 76. I was a bass fisherman. My father loved to fish, and if I wanted to spend time with Dad, I went fishing. So you can imagine why it was so important to me. And as I got older and I started fishing more and more, I kind of started to resent the fishing industry, the fishing rules, the regulations, the hassle of having to clean the boat afterwards, the fact that when I fished, as I'm older, there wasn't as many fish as there used to be, and it was becoming quite negative, and that over time leads to illness. And I read that every now and then you need to change your hobby, especially if you're thinking that you're unhappy there. And I decided to become more of an outdoorsman and spend more time hunting and learning about game and food preparation. And I joined a hunting lease. And the day that I joined the lease, I put all my fishing stuff away, and I learned how to track and how to hunt and all these things that came with it. And I'll tell you, it was 7 fantastic years of belonging on that lease and doing food plots and hanging with my friends and building all new people. And it was interesting and exciting to me again because of the fact that I changed my what's important to me. Now, since then, I've taken up fishing again, and it became new and interesting because I hadn't done it in a while. So that's only my point. You need to mix up these patterns, these habits. I think it's important to do that. Recently, I've become very involved in digital technology. I see it as a solution for income and for marketing and for promotion. Hence, I'm doing this video. So, and that's been exciting to me, and I'm learning about all those different skills, and I feel like I fit in with some of the younger generation today, and so that's a good thing. So the third principle is rest and recuperation, and having a good varied mental skills that you're doing. Pick up a new photography class, maybe learn how to play a musical instrument, learn some languages. If you keep your brain active, your brain will last longer and more healthy. Now the fourth issue of really important of a foundation is something called the law of sanitation. And that means the cleanliness, the law of being clean. And that would be being clean with what you put on your body. We're well aware of washing ourselves and using soap because you can absorb the toxins from your skin and releases poisons, and you need to rinse it off and wash it off regularly. And we know the importance of that because we don't want to smell and we don't want people to look at us. But what you put in your body can be very toxic also, and have poison, and that requires energy for the body to get rid of the toxin. So if you drink alcohol excessively, and I'm not talking about a glass of wine a day, that's not what I'm speaking about here, or a couple of beers on the weekend with your friends. I'm talking about, putting too much into your body too often. That can make your body very sick from the poisons. It's also, there's a lot of toxins involved in foods, in processed foods. There's chemicals. We're taking artificial sweeteners. There's, there's a lot of preservatives in foods which don't spoil. When something is left out and it doesn't go rancid in a week or so, it tells you it's full of chemical preservatives. And those are very bad for you, limiting your body's exposure to petrochemicals, poisons, gasoline, exhaust, plastics, removing plastics from your environment, anything which is made from petroleum-based products, pesticides, eating organic versus non-organic. The amount of toxins that we're ingesting is through the roof, through the ceiling, and it's a big source of why we're not healthy or why we don't feel well. So it's really hard to avoid all the toxins because they're ubiquitous with us. We use them as we need them. In a sense, we've developed a need for them. So you need to do detoxifications regularly to get rid of the accumulated toxins. It's like a cleansing. You wouldn't leave your pool filter to suck up all the leaves and germs and detritus and not take it out and rinse it off and then blow it out and then put a clean filter in. Because you're always going to get these products in the pool. Your system, your body systems are the same way. You're going to constantly be absorbing these toxins because it's in our environment, but you need a process that's regularly where you detoxify the body. Now, the detoxifications that I recommend really are fruits and vegetables in a manner that will give you an inner clean diet. And God created fruits and vegetables for enzymes, created it for the nutrients that are in food and fruits and vegetables. Well, the other part that fruits and vegetables have is they're eliminative. They have an ability to scrub the system of poisons and toxins. And so that's why people do juice fasts, and they juice vegetables, and they drink lots of water. That's why after drinking apple juice, you have to urinate so quickly because it runs through your body so fast, and it helps to get rid of poisons. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. That's based on detoxification. Now, there's a lot of other detox products. There's herbs you can take. There's bentonite clays. There are activated charcoal products that you can mix in your smoothies. Also, saunas, deep infrared saunas, drinking water. Detoxification is a very personal thing to each person, and you need to look at it and understand that. You can't avoid all the poisons and toxins in the world. You need to have a regular regimen of detoxification. So those are the four basic principles of the physical body, and I'll summarize them real quick. It's the law of nutrition, it's the law of movement, it's the law of rest and recuperation, and then you have the law of sanitation, and that includes cleanliness inside the body and outside of the body. Now, the other part of your body, because there's three parts to a body, there's body, mind, and soul. It's a triune. And the body is most ailments and physical problems can be alleviated just by following the body's laws that I just went over. Now, there's other laws that involved, and that would be the mind and the soul. Now, the mind is the way we define what your mind is. Your mind is developed by your brain's cells. When you're impressed with images and ideas and beliefs that go into your brain, you end up making brain cells and you develop patterns and habits, and that's your mind. Your mind is not a physical part of your body. It's the function. It's just like the digestion, your digestive system is a series of a lot of different organs that are called, there's not one organ for digestion, and there's not one organ for your mind, but basically your mind is your ideas, your beliefs, and the certain things about you and the way you think is your mind. So people that have bad thoughts, improper thoughts, hate, anger, resentment, jealousy, criticism, greed, and they express these activities, these ideas more than the other ones, they have a problem with their mind. So most people that have a problem with their mind are emotional wrecks. The emotions rule them more than common sense and rational thinking. So, if you're having these types of issues with anger and resentment and greed and criticism and self-condemnation and interference with people, you need to look at your mind and wonder where is it that you think that you have a right to be there, to do that. You got to get some help with that. Maybe it's with psychological counseling. Maybe it's with meditation. You can also just study these emotions and read the opposite emotions, because for every negative emotion we have, there's a positive one that's opposite to it. So anger would be, forgiveness. Greed would be generosity. Somebody that has jealousy would be love. Hate is love, and love is one of the major that control just about all of the negative emotions. With love, you can decrease a lot of these mind problems. And you can have the best food and be exercising, and if you walk around with negative ideas and negative thoughts and emotions and fear and anxiety and jealousy and greed and envy and criticism of things, you're going to be an unhealthy person. And there's no doubt about it. Okay? Now, the soul is a description for for as far as with your body goes, as to what's healthy ideas, healthy actions. The soul, it can be sickened through actions which are against your moral nature. If you know that it's wrong to, the early soul commandments were the 10 commandments. Do no harm, don't covet thy neighbor's wife, shalt not kill. And these are moral norms that we know are not okay. These are the things that you're never going to tell anybody that you did. And what happens is when you express those you crash your morals through your actions and through your ideas, or mostly through bad action and not thinking, and you become very sickened, and it makes you very ill. Because unless you're a really evil person, and most of you aren't, there's an old saying: if you ever wondered if you were evil, you're not, because evil people don't think that they're evil. If you think you are, that's a healthy, normal, conscious result to moral issues, and that would be issues of the soul. And there's a whole group of people that help people with moral issues, and religion is one of them, in churches, and there's a lot of counselors, and there's groups you can go to help you heal from those moral decisions that maybe were not in the best interest for your soul, And one of them is, a big one is forgiveness, is forgiving yourself and forgiving others for things, and forgiveness. And the other one is gratitude, having gratitude and making a list every day of what you're grateful for, instead of making a list of what you hate every day. So I hope some of these ideas resonates with some of you out there, that your symptoms, the pain you have, the stiffness, the stomach problems, the headaches, the bowel troubles, the problems in your feet, the tendency towards maybe cancer or diabetes or blood pressure issues. A lot of these problems emanate by not following these proper laws of life. nutrition and movement and recuperation and rest and sanitation, and then controlling the emotions, your mind emotions. And then if you have problems with soul actions and moral issues, you need to get those handled and be free of them and forgive yourself. And when you can do that every single day, health is just a given. Your body repairs itself and you'll be a much healthier person. So I hope you enjoyed my explanation of this. It is September 30th. It's 2020, and this is my name is Dr. Tred Rissacher, and you've been listening to the Slim Bodies Health and Wellness Rant and Rave. All right? Thank you so much. If you like it, hit share, send it to other people. I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel, and I'll also put it into my Facebook account also, okay? And that would be Slim Body Laser Spa, Facebook at Slim Body Laser Spa, and then YouTube. You can also put in my name, drtred.com. My name is very unique, and I have an email. It's slimbodylaserspa@gmail.com. And I do have a book on all of this. It's called The Rays of the Dawn, and I'm going from my understanding of the book. I've read it since I was a young teenager. I study it, and we do have those books available at the spa. All right? Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.